soldier. Give me space and I'm in a good place. Very serious, mysterious, mind makes right. In for the fight. Starlight out on low. Starlight out on low. Starlight out low. Cosmic soldier. Give me space and I'm in a good place. Very serious, mysterious, I make right. In for the fight. Starlight out low. Starlight out low.
Welcome, everyone. How are you guys doing? What is up, those of you in La La Land? I don't know who's all live today. I haven't done any. I usually go make sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. Make sure we're not splitting the audience too much. But I did want to do my own thing today. I didn't see many people live. So I got some news today. The stream that got took down yesterday, it's not a strike. It was a warning, but I appealed it while the video still did get taken down. The quote unquote strike got removed, so there is no problem with that right now. So we're good. One thing, because I'm going to keep playing music, I'm going to keep creating and fostering that environment for us to share the culture and the beautiful things we enjoy in our lives with each other. I will ask for now, because there's a little bit of people that, oh, this song sucks. That's funny, but be a little bit nicer about it. The only thing that we have to be wary of is if it was at one time a live broadcast, that seems to be the issue. That seems to be the issue that YouTube has. Like the last two things we played were once like live broadcasts. It is not your fault, Abby. You have nothing to be sorry about. I should have done my due diligence and found a version that was not a live performance. So basically what it is I've got it narrowed down to live performances and or songs and versions over 3 minutes. That seems to be the issue, and we can do that. We got this, like I said, the strike was taken away. It wasn't really a strike, it was a warning. I took the little class on it. They didn't put the video back up. Luckily it saved to StreamYard, so I'll re-upload. I'm going to cut the music part out and re-upload the SpaceX and all that stuff before we started playing the music videos. Right. I'll probably actually cut it off after me and Gabe start talking about the music, because we were talking about some of the music, and I feel like just that commentary is enough, because we were talking about the songs and what they mean and the meaning behind them. But I wanted to do that announcement first. Please like and share and subscribe to the video. Share the video around to people, let them know we're live. And let's get on with it. So today I had an interaction with someone over at the Gospel of Bob's. Shout out to the Gospel of Bob. That made me, and I've been going through changes rapidly this week. I've had some conversations with some people, and I realized that the mentors in my life have been saying the same thing, but from radically different approaches, radically different thought processes, and radically different people. To the point, I think sometimes they don't get confused, but they think that they're saying different stuff. But I'm seeing it and I'm putting it together and I'm formulating it in my mind. So we're going to be talking about social dynamics and how certain people, men and women, engage in the social hierarchy and social dynamics. We'll be talking about brotherhood, because I feel like men in general lack a brotherhood. There is no safety net for us to regulate one another, for us to talk to one another. And we are basically completely ad hocing it under fire of society. And then we're going to talk about some gardening, because I like survivalism. I like chickens. I like goats. And I like cows. And I like apples. I like gardening. So I got some cool stuff for that. So welcome to the show, gentlemen. I'm going to explain this and I'm going to get you guys' take on it. Let me go ahead and post the link, because this is my hangout / open panel show. There will be different types of shows coming in the future. This is open to, just because it says brotherhood does not mean it's not open to women. It is definitely open to women. But I had an issue with someone, the interrupting, right? When you're on panel and you're talking and somebody comes up and they just have to give you their point. They have to. And it's typically women. And in this interaction, a woman at the Gospel of Bob's, like, I was in the middle of firing some shit about society off. And it wasn't about race. We were talking about the Chud the Builder situation. And I was giving my points and how they affect society and whatnot. And I can be a little bit long-winded. But this person came up and they interrupted. Then you have to argue with them about them interrupting. They have to make excuses for it. They have to, but I just want to, and like, I'm just going to start muting tabs and finishing what I'm saying. I'm not going to argue with these people, because I just in general wind up getting screwed up in what I'm saying, and it fucks up my whole thing. And so this happened, and I want to say this person knows about the drama that I've been in dealing with the past few days. And they said, well, you don't take your anger out on me. And that's the thing. Weak men and women will know you're angry or dealing with something, and they'll, because you're just mad at that situation, and completely disregard their bad behavior. So let me be clear, and I think this is something that people need to start pointing out. Correcting bad behavior in someone is not being emotional. It is not taking your anger out on them. You may be more harsh if something bad or something is going on in your life, but we need the objective truth is when somebody has bad behavior and you set upon correcting them, this is not an emotional response. This is not a crybaby response. And this is not you taking your anger out on them. It is, motherfucker, you have bad behavior, and I'm not going to argue with you about it anymore. I was talking, or I was doing something, and you completely showed a severe lack of judgment and respect in interrupting me. And arguing with those people is emotion. Getting caught up in the argument. I will say that. And I'm tired of women and weak men alike, equally, acting like correcting their behavior is an emotional response. Because that is done purely as a social dynamic. It is social force and social currency at play. I, for one, am sick of it. Gentlemen, do y'all have any comments, thoughts on this topic?
But my point is more important than your point.
Well,
How
half the
many
time
times
it's
have
not.
you
Half
heard
the time it's
that?
not a point. I've heard it a lot, but half the time they don't even make a point. They just fucking meander into nothingness. Or in this specific situation I'm talking about, the host and I 20-second, like not even 20 minutes earlier, literally said the same thing that person said and went over that. And that person is just like, oh, I wasn't here for that. Well, hit the fucking rewind. Be informed before you hop up on a goddamn panel.
Or you
I know
get the
that's a bit too
ones
much of
that
that.
say, I didn't see the title of the show. I haven't heard anything. I just seen it was an open panel, so I'm here.
And that's another problem with our society is you've got a bunch of dumb, uninformed motherfuckers. And it can be dumb or dumb or uninformed, right? Doesn't have to be, it can be either or, but most of the time it's both. And that's the problem with democracy. That's the problem with freedom, letting everybody have it. You have a bunch of uninformed dumbasses making decisions for the rest of us. And making decisions is stupid ass fucking things that affect the rest of us. What's up, Ashtray? He says, howdy to you, sexy gardeners. What is up, Abby Normal, Abe Dinkus, Alawine, Bluegrass? How are you guys doing? And the rest of you beautiful folks in La La Land. Go ahead, Chuck.
Or you get the ones that will come up to interject, and the other person will give way after maybe a minute of maybe a little bicker. And then they want to spend 20 minutes wasting their time arguing about the interruption instead of trying to make the point that they wanted to make. And they totally forget about the point. They want to get involved in the argument about, well, you should seem to me, to give me the time, but no, you want to interrupt me because I interrupted, and it goes nowhere. Instead of just when you're given the floor and you don't even get to your point. A lot of times I see that. Well, so-and-so was over talking me. It wasn't allowing me to speak. You give them 20 minutes and they still ain't said nothing.
I noticed that's what began to happen between me and the person on Gospel of Bob's, and I just shut that shit down. The only thing, I overtalked them and I told them, look, correcting your behavior is not emotion. I'm not going to argue with you. I have nothing against you. I'm going to finish. I'm going to let you go because I done forgot my fucking point because you interrupted me and then tried to argue with me about it. So
the other thing I try to keep in mind is how important is it for me to correct the other person?
I think it's 100% important. Now, the timing.
Yeah, that's what
is
I'm talking
another
about.
thing. Should it be done right then and there? Or should it be done in private? Should it be done publicly? I think it should be, me personally, I think it should be handled as soon as possible in as least a disruptive manner to whatever else is going on as possible. But
I'm happy Abe still likes me.
But I have thought about this for a while, and one of the changes that I'm going through because of everything like social, both IRL and on the internet, is I am realizing that by me being charismatic and kind to people, it is doing both myself and them a disservice, because it is creating an environment of, and you hear about this in addiction a lot. I forget the word, Chuck. You, or if Jamie, you're listening, y'all can tell me the word if I get it wrong. Enabling. is enabling this bad behavior to continue and go unabated. It's enabling the ignorant and the stupid to do their disruptions and cause chaos. So, I'm gonna start being completely open and honest, telling people how I feel about them, whether I respect them or not, whether I like them or not. That way we can be on as even and open footing, and it's not to do drama. It's so that they know where they stand with me and where I stand with them. And I'm not going to enable bad things. I started that with Gabe the other day, and I like Gabe to death, but everybody heard what I told him. That stream is still up. Love Gabe to death. Think he's a good man. Think he's a good creator. But I will not enable miscommunication or dilly-dally in my life. I don't have time for your dilly-dally bullshit. No.
And I approach conversation like that song, The Gambler. You know, you got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, and you got to know when to walk away. I try to approach some of these conversations like that. Am I actually going to get anywhere? Or is this just going to be a big circus? Am I just talking to hear myself talk without even making any valid points or anything? Am I just arguing to be arguing, or am I actually trying to make a point? There's a lot of perspectives, different perspectives that come into play, especially on this YouTube stuff. I mean, real life, how many times has a conversation turned into an emotional tirade, a screen fest, things like that, as opposed to what we got here online with no guardrails?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is the reason that I am having these policies, and many people may say, "Oh, OG, you're becoming jaded," or "You're becoming done." No, I am tired of having to do the charisma schmoozing fest in the social dynamic game. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I try to like everybody. I try to get along with everybody.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not just gonna call people out for their faults in public. But you will know where I stand with you. You will know my respect level for you. That way we can engage in a smoother and better field. And if you don't like me, you can kick rocks. If you don't want to engage, you don't want to have an honest conversation, you can kick rocks. And I think that's fair for everybody involved. Yeah, sometimes you got to go monk mode. That's a nice thing to call it. But yeah. So do y'all have anything to say on the social dynamic front?
I'm waiting on Dennis, and I hogged enough airtime.
I think that if you're watching this right now, you should be hitting that like button and sharing this. If you're entertained or find value in it, then put your wallet on the table and donate to the host.
And
The links are in the chat.
Go ahead, Denny. My bad.
Why are you talking
That is
over?
all.
Another thing, I will not be tolerating the presence of weak men. I will not be tolerating the presence of weak men and dysfunctional women.
Well, hell, there's gonna be nobody left. Damn.
So,
Touche.
well, then we'll be talking. So, yeah, no, that's actually one of the things that I realized and want to talk about in social dynamics. In my earnest to call out negative behavior that I've associated with the MGTOW movement, I was not listening to Denison or Casper when they were trying to explain to me what it meant to them. And no matter if it's Chuck, Ike, Denison, or Casper, when Denison explains the MGTOW movement or what he means by being MGTOW, it doesn't matter if it's Chuck or Ike or other people that agree with my take on MGTOW. When you talk about what a man is supposed to be, they're supposed to be a rock. They are supposed to be a fortress unto themselves. They are supposed to provide shelter for women and children and their fellow man. You can only do those things if you stand up and you separate yourself from the sheep. You can only do that if you make yourself a lion. So these men that have been mentoring me are vastly different, have vastly different ideologies, have vastly different beliefs, have vastly different wealth levels, have vastly different levels of success. But they were all saying the same thing in their own way. And that can lead to some confusion amongst each other in some arguments. They were saying the same thing, no matter who it was. And that's something that I think people need to also realize, because when we tolerate the presence of weak men and those who refuse to communicate, not those who have an issue with communication or they're hard to communicate with, but those who refuse to be strong, to educate themselves, that leads into the miscommunication, chaos, and disruption. That's why I promised Casper yesterday, because Casper is not a weak man, and he's not a stupid man. He is hard to communicate with, whether that be a cultural difference, whether that be accent, whether that be he's smarter than you or dumber than you, whether that be he is belligerent on certain things he believes, or you're belligerent on certain things you believe, or you just don't want to listen to him because you don't like him. That is a communication flaw. And as a man, we have to be able to communicate. We have to do our due diligence to communicate and understand. And if we don't, we fail. And here's the thing. As men, failure is not an option for us.
Well, it's what you do with failure, to me. If you want to live in the failure, then yeah, you're lost. But if you take that failure to try to make yourself better and not repeat the same mistake that caused the failure, then you're doing something.
Well, the only way we get to that point is with communication.
Speaking of failures.
What's up, Vibe? How you doing? That's fucked up, Chuck. Don't do that.
That's you, Vibe?
That's you,
That's
brother?
me.
What's up, Vibe?
What's up, guys?
Another fine day in paradise.
I heard you bring in Casper there, and I just kind of like, let me see how I can say this politely.
Yeah, be careful, Vi, please.
Yeah, because we're not.
Casper and I have gone head to head screaming, right?
Let me preface this to you. I'm going to try to leave names out of things. I was using Casper as a specific example because Casper's my friend, and this is a problem I had. I was critiquing myself with my handling of the situation with Casper.
Well, I like your example of Casper, and actually,
you see, even then you were trying to be fair, but you see how you still would have benefited from leaving the name out of it.
Yeah, right.
Crazy, isn't it?
But I actually kind of want to like raise Casper a little bit because I saw him on your channel and I didn't actually join on that particular one. But you gave him the floor and he went on and on and on and on and on. And everybody in the chat was just so annoyed with him. But I actually listened to him and I was like, oh, crap. Like I hated Casper until you let him do his rant. And I listened to his rant. And I was like, actually, this guy's pretty smart. It's just nobody really wants to listen to him. And I appreciate what you're saying. And I don't want to make this about Casper. Like I'm not actually, I'm actually picking up Casper a little bit here because it wasn't until he got to rant that I actually heard what he was saying, right? It was the first time he wasn't like interrupted. And you gave him that platform, which I think is great of you, right? You said he's a friend of yours. Him and I have gone head to head, screaming at each other. And I never realized actually how much we actually probably talked over each other until that rant. So I don't actually mean to call Casper out, but I am actually not trashing him. I'm saying once I heard him speak and you gave him that platform to speak, even though chat was like, get him off. I was like, oh, you know what? This guy's actually pretty smart, right? I love that opportunity. And that kind of goes in tune what you were saying. As a man, sometimes we have to stop thinking that just because we have principles, we have to trash somebody. Sometimes we have to listen to somebody. So I actually admired, and that's why I jumped up here, because your example, as Dennison said, well, we weren't trying to pin one person. You were trying to make an example because you made one person as an example. Do you guys follow where I'm going with this?
I do.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm going to, but I'm going to more or less follow Dennison's advice because we talked before the stream, and I did a little exercise where I did a little soul searching on what I want for the channel, what I want, how I want to operate, and I shared it with Dennison. And some advice that was given is when you want to talk about these situations, the best way to handle it is to not name names, because you can talk about the morality or the situation itself without bringing those people in, and it doesn't do the drama feedback. And I think that is some of the best advice that I have ever been giving on these YouTube streams.
Yeah, you discuss the subject, not the person.
And that's exactly how Dennison worded it as well. And I think from now on, that's what I'm going to do.
And I don't know if you remember, I was just on here a couple days ago, and I said I came up with a personal code of conduct of how I behave. Now, I don't say that, I'm not going to say that my conduct I can give to you. I think each of us should have like our conduct. And I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways, because we just said, let's not talk about names. But like Dusty, like I like Dusty. If he were to write his personal rules of conduct, the way he runs his channel, they would be different than mine. But I'm not going to say his are wrong. That would be his personal code of conduct. Basically, it's like businesses do, what do they call it? A mission statement, right? You create a mission statement for yourself on like, these are my rules of conduct, and I'm going to try to never betray them. Now, sometimes people will upset you, and you may betray them just because emotions get over you. But overall, I think all of us should have, and it doesn't have to be mine. Each person should have their own like conduct of how they want to behave and the type of entertainment they want to provide.
What's up, Jess? And I understand that. I get where you're coming from. Now there is obviously a couple caveats. Like if I'm talking about things that happen on people's channels, that's more of a shout out to the channel, me showing my support and me telling people to go check out the channel. Like with me bringing up Gospel of Bob's channel, y'all should go check that out. Awesome channel. Good man, good crew over there. They are more of a pro black space. And what I enjoy about Gospel of Bob though, is they're kind of like me with being pro white. Being pro black and being pro white doesn't mean that you're racial supremacist. It means you support your people. And that means you call out your people when there's negative behaviors in your culture. And that's why I love about there, because you can give your opinion as an outsider, as like a white man. There are a bunch of ignorant people, just like when you have these spaces, because there are going to be racial supremacists who have rules for thee but not for me type shit. And those people are part of the weak men and ignorant, stupid people category and should be disregarded.
I personally love being on black panels because it's the one place I can actually be myself. When I'm on white panels, if I actually just like say my things, white people call me racist. I go onto a black panel and I just be myself and nobody calls me racist. It's so weird. I don't understand it.
Because you're the token white.
No, not always. I think it's more that white people are more sensitive to. So I don't mind saying things like, I mean, I grew up in Michigan. There were a lot of black people around. I worked in Detroit, right? And I went to barbecues. Every time I went to a barbecue, yes, there was watermelon fried chicken. Like, if I say that on a white panel, I'm called racist. If I say that on a black panel, they laugh, going, you know us, right? It's this difference where like whites are so scared of like being racist that on a white panel, if I say something like that, I'm more condemned versus a black channel where they're just like, okay, this guy actually lived in Detroit, right?
I get what you're saying. One of the topics we discussed over at Gospel of Bob, because we're talking about the social dynamics and we're kind of moved on from the women and weak men bad behavior and calling out that bad behavior and correcting that bad behavior. We're kind of moving around. That's what I'm saying. You're around the wrong white people.
SS Kitty says you're around the wrong white people.
But the fundamental aspect of this rules for me, but not thee, is this Chud the Builder case, right?
How so?
You're not wrong. I mean, I know you say kidding, but you're not wrong. But I also say how white trash is bad for society because this Chud the Builder case, right? You don't have to like him, but I'm an American. We believe in freedom of speech. Our government, our way of freedom of speech is two things. And we have foreign influence that try to tell us these two things are wrong. I say, fuck you. You can stay in your dystopian hellscapes. We'll have freedom over here. The first thing is freedom of speech. The speech that you like does not need to be defended. The speech that you hate, the speech that makes you want to choke a motherfucker, the speech that makes you want to stomp a motherfucker out is what needs to be protected. And then the aspect that, and this comes from multiple reasons, but the aspect of freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. It absolutely does. There cannot be a government or private consequence, or it is not freedom of speech. Our founding fathers said to fight tyranny from whence it comes. It did not say, oh, the tyranny only comes from the government. No, we fought a king. Do you know what a king is? A king is an individual who controls a sovereign nation. When they were fighting against the king, they were fighting against the will of an individual. Libertarians, just because you like money and you think and you would rather compromise your values without showing it for money, does not mean that you did not stomp out an individual for breaking your freedom of speech or breaking your rights. All right. But I digress. I'm starting to digress from the point. Freedom of speech does mean freedom of consequence, and freedom and like hate speech and shit is not real, right? But I find that in this Chud the Builder case, you have a bunch of low IQ people. I'm so sorry that happened, Becca. I apologize, darling.
I've had it happen. You will recover.
Yeah. This guy, I'm sorry, darling. But back to the topic at hand. This Chud the Builder case is the perfect example of social dynamics where all of the stupid black people and ignorant black people and cowardly whites will say Chud deserved it because he said mean things. And I say incitement is for bitches because I don't give a fuck what color you are. If somebody says a word and it makes you so homicidally violent that you have to attack them or you just have to fight them, I do not want to share a society with you. You can be my brothers in arms, throwing up fucking Romans, saying hail, hail the white race, brother. And if you get violent over words, I will tell you, get the fucking hell away from me. Kick rocks. You are stupid and you are
OG,
ignorant, and I don't want to share society with you. Let me finish.
OG, just out of curiosity, do you not want to share society with me? I'm a white guy, but I married somebody that isn't white, right? So now I have children that are half white, half not white. I've now broken that whiteness, right? So my children can never have pure white children ever again, right? My whole lineage can never have a white child.
You completely disregard actual genetics when you say things like that, but continue.
Okay, well, no, I'm just curious. Like, I mean, would you say that I'm a bad person for breaking my white heritage?
What in anything that I have said this stream or in the past conversations would make you believe that that is what I believe?
Well, because you said, I mean, you're kind of going on this thing about like, hey, you know, I believe that we should maintain our social groups of like, I think the last thing you just said in the last 10 minutes was like, we need to maintain this type of society, right? And based on race, you're kind of saying that. And if I'm wrong, by the way, please correct me.
You're listening.
Correct me.
You're listening. You're listening to respond and change the subject to what you want to talk about.
No. I just heard you say that in the last 10 minutes.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Vibe. That is not what I said.
Okay.
What I said was, I don't care your race, your religion, your culture, your genetics, whatever you have, whatever differences there may be. If you are somebody that cannot control themselves because somebody uses a word you don't like, I don't want to share society with you. I think you are a detriment to the advancement of the human race, the advancement of society, and I would prefer you to not exist within it.
Okay, so I'm being a little bit of an idiot here. So if you are somebody that gets insulted by words, you should not contribute. Doesn't matter about race.
Again,
sex.
that's not what I said.
No. Like I said, I'm a dummy. I'm trying to understand.
I don't think you're that dumb. I just don't think you're listening.
I'm trying to listen.
Hold on, wait. Let me address chat. Hey, Abe, I know you're fucking with me here, but being capable of violence and knowing when to use it are skills, and I know that you have those skills, and I know what you're talking about, and I know you're fucking with me. So it's funny. I'll give you that. Yes, not loss. If you attack a man because he calls your mom a bitch, yes, that counts. Did he put hands on your mother? Did he take food from your mother's mouth? Did he steal your mother's property? Was he a threat to your mother? If so, and you used violence upon him, that's fine. But if he called your mother a bitch and you were so angry that you could not control yourself, then yeah, I don't want to share society with you. Because here's the thing, you lack self-control. You lack discipline necessary to advance the human race. Plain and simple. Now,
So
for someone like
it should be actions, not words. That is the defining.
Now, if someone is in your mother's face, and because a person that is yelling and visibly trying to intimidate, that is an action. That is going beyond words. If they won't get out of their face, they won't leave them alone, and they are steadily on them, and you throw down, that's slightly different than somebody just going, you're a bitch, I don't like you, fuck you. Or someone saying the N-word. But if somebody is like getting in your face, or they walk up to your child and get in your child's face, that is two totally different situations than just mere words.
Yep,
They might
that's
not even make
exactly
it into my child's face.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to me.
So like
Someone might get throat chopped before they get into my child's face.
there are always caveats and exceptions. But by and large, in generalities, if you get so it doesn't matter. Oh. Well, I mean, again, that go. Then you should start with that instead of saying, "Oh, someone called my mom a bitch, so I threw them down the stairs." They were in your mother's face. They were invading your personal space. They were showing aggression to you. That is different. But we can talk a little bit about the race stuff, Vibe. Do I want to see do I want to see white people with white people? Yes. Plain and simple, yeah. Do I want to see black people with black people? Sure. But if some people love each other and they start a family, is that any of my concern? Absolutely not. Are they producing children? Are they producing children that are indicative to the advancement of society? Are they raising them right? Are they raising them to be functional adults? If so, no fucking problem at all. Full stop.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going in the sense that like as travel becomes more accessible, right? And right now, obviously, because of the war, travel is not very accessible, but through technology, right, we're able to explore the whole world. And I was always liked brunette white women. That was my preference, right? But I didn't end up
redheads
marrying
and
one because I
blondes
fell in love with
exist.
somebody that
Why?
wasn't, right. It was a
As
personality
long as
thing.
they were breathing, that's all that mattered.
Yeah, no, but my point being here is that over time, there is this potential that none of our races exist anymore because we actually, I mean, unless certain people just hold strong to saying black people have to stay with black people, Asians have to stay with Asians, whites have to stay with whites. If we hold on to that mentality, then maybe yes, we'll always have these different things. But I'm thinking over like 1,000 years,
Or the vet.
and just it's just a thought experiment, right? Over 1,000 years with travel and being able to go anywhere, if you find your partner, you find your partner regardless of the race. And that's kind of where I was kind of going with the whole question is, am I betraying, because I am actually reducing the white population by mixing with somebody that's not white, right? That's my and I was asking if you think that's a bad thing, but it sounds like you're saying that actually you don't have a problem with that as long as that person is a contribution to society.
Yep, because
Right.
I understand genetics and human diversity, like unforced forced diversity is always a bad thing. If a government or outside body demands diversity and inclusion, society is going to struggle because you are literally going to have to uplift certain people that don't fit into these places.
Yeah, but I mean, only 150 years ago, right?
Can I finish my
Diversity
thought?
stayed strong.
Vibe.
Because
Can I finish?
because
Can
of
I finish
travel.
my vibe? Can I finish my
Go
thought?
ahead. Your show. Sorry.
It's not even about my show. It's about correcting bad behavior. You got to let people finish what they're saying. Thank you. So the simple fact of the matter is human social behavior dictates that the vast majority of people are attracted to their own. For every person who mixes race, there will be 10 who do not. And then there'll be another 20 who don't breed for whatever reason. Whenever you look at the actual science and data behind it, whether it be 10, 100, 1,000 years, while race mixing does increase, so does the number of people of one race or another. It is offset by the amount of people that exist. So if you find a partner that is your other half of another race, and you're not just fetishizing them because you've been propagandized to believe in forced diversity, and you love them, and you have children with them, 9 times out of 10, if they're around white people, they will then marry a white person. In 10 fucking years, or sorry, 10 generations, you won't really be able to tell that their fucking grandparent was black or Asian. They
Yeah,
will
they're all
have
gonna
the same
they're all gonna look
phenotype and genetics as most other white people around them. They just have the genetic diversity necessary to keep from inbreeding. So it's not a problem. In fact, is a benefit for society. But when you have forced diversity that demands that we create spaces for people that otherwise do not belong, you will have social discohesion. You will have racial issues. You will
okay,
have religious
but
issues. You will have
is
cultural
there
issues.
any forced doctrine out there that is actually forcing multi-diverse coupling? Right now, I understand DEI and things like that. That's the workplace. But as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong on this, there is no worldwide force doctrine to mingle races. Right? That's just an option of your own preference. Correct?
No. There's peer pressure. There's peer pressure. There's pressure put on someone. If a young white woman does not want to date a black man, she's labeled racist.
No,
And
you know,
is
actually,
forced into peer
we
pressure.
see that within the racial groups, right? Like if a black woman dates a white man, a lot of her black friends are going to be like, "Oh, damn girl," right? Same thing. White guys dating a black girl, the white culture is going to say, "Really? Wow, that guy's. I never knew he was going to go that side," right? That's the social pressure you're talking about, correct?
No, there are social pressures and there are peer pressures to do certain things. Like when you turn on the TV and every couple trying to sell you something is a mixed race couple, that's a social pressure.
Okay, yeah. So
when you can be labeled
racist,
when you can be labeled racist and have your career destroyed because you don't want to suck a black guy's dick as a woman, that is a social pressure.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I mean, we see that with the gay couples, the black and white couples, and everything being propagandized on television shows, Netflix series, and things like that. Right? We see it all the time.
This is why I don't like the idea of force doctrine being applied to everything, because it's not a doctrine. It is something that's foundational. It's something that is a part of humanity. It is a simple tool of communication. When all else fails, your communication is to hit them. So force doctrine doesn't apply here. It's about social manipulation and pressures.
You're right. It's not a forced doctrine. I was just saying, like, we're basically being forced. And I was saying that I don't think anybody's being forced to, in social circles, minus the things that I mentioned and the things that you mentioned, which contradicts what I'm saying. I don't think anybody's saying that, like, as a white guy, you should marry an Asian, right? I don't think that's a ploy that's actually happening out there.
Again,
no, I think it's more so that if you're a white woman, you're racist if you won't get with a black dude.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see totally somebody saying, like, if you like him and he's black, and she's like, well, I don't like black guys. I could totally see the pressure there.
the problem is
so coercion is a type of force.
And that's when I used the wrong definition when I said force doctrine, because I know Andrew Wilson likes to use that, and I actually don't believe in his force doctrine. Well, I actually do believe it exists, but I don't think it's the primary. I think it's the secondary. But I don't think there's this huge push in society for us to actually crossbreed.
No,
I think the push for us to be gay and transition is much bigger than crossbreeding.
No, the crossbreeding is also there. Again, it's a social issue. If you can have your life destroyed by being called a racist, people are going to manipulate you to get what they want from you. But you're going to see microcosms in that, where people who want to sleep with certain partners will go, "Oh, you a racist because you don't want to get with me, girl," and that person is going to have fear that they're going to be labeled with that, and they're going to be more likely to do something they don't want to do. It's coercion. And you see microcosms of that all the time. And the biggest evidence for this existing in society is this Chud the Builder person. You want to live in a society where if somebody is violent, you can defend yourself, regardless of the reason, right? But what we have now, because we've created a system where there are certain subsects of the population that are coddled, and they have special treatment. So anytime they're treated with equality, actual true equality, they see it as oppression. They want special rules for them, and then they laugh in your face. Go look at anybody talking about this Chud the Builder situation. Go look at the Kamala Anthony situation, and you will see untold people mocking the whites and just doing everything they can to play in the face. And they're all ignorant, stupid motherfuckers. They are all bad for society.
Let's see if we can come to some agreements here, right? So I agree with you that most white people tend to find the white sex more attractive, and they typically marry white people. Same
Race,
thing.
I gotta ask you. I have to ask you something, and I'm gonna interrupt you. I have to Vibe. What is your deal with wanting to focus on race? Because every time I have talked to you on my panel, you have literally made it about a racial issue.
Well, I mean, I actually am responding to your original comments, right? So if I'm talking about race, it's because you started talking about race.
Vibe, I didn't start out by talking about race.
I didn't start out talking about race either.
You're the one who brought the racial discussion to this panel.
You are, sir. Question on that when you were basically making statements, right? Like with whites and blacks and keeping all that stuff in. I was asking a question. I'm trying to find where you sit, and I'm actually trying to bring us together on this because I think we might actually agree on this.
I've told you where I sat, and the specific context was the Chud the Builder debacle that's going on in our society. The Kamala Anthony debacle that's going on in our society. And my exact statement is not a racial statement, but me making a clarification that I do not care what the differences are, whether they be genetic, i.e. race, they be religious, they be cultural. If you are a violent motherfucker over words, I do not want to share a society with you. And I don't think you should exist within society. It's not a race thing. It's a I'm tired of stupid people and believe in eugenics thing.
Well, I have to say, I love stupid people because they make people like you and me look smart, right?
I don't have to be.
They don't. Actually, they drag us down to their level and make us look dumb.
Exactly. I was going to say, I don't have to look smart. I have to be smart.
True.
I have to be intelligent. Now, since you asked me about race, I'll tell you my beliefs on race. And you're going to listen, and I will tell you when I'm done, and then you can ask me a question. I believe that every racial group has the right to self-determination. I believe they have the right to exist, procreate, and create a better world for their posterity. I believe that they have the right to advance for their people and their cause. What they don't have the right to do is to be ignorant, self-centered, push for rules for thee but not for me, and be violent to those who oppose them for their stupidity. I.e., if you're a racial supremacist and you're a fucking retard and you can't handle conversation and discussion and law without being violent because you didn't get what you want, or somebody called you a bitch, you had to step to them, cuz. I don't want you to exist in my society. I don't think you should procreate. And I think you should be forgotten for the relics of Neanderthals and Ethopithecus that you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. And I don't disagree with most of that. I mean, the one piece I disagree with is, and by the way, actually, I do agree. I just don't want those stupid people here anymore. We can do a better society without them, but we can't just like delete them, right? We have to do something for them, correct?
No, we don't have to do anything for them.
We can do nothing for them and let them self-delete, right? And I'm okay with that, to be honest. I agree.
No. We can cordon them off. when they commit crimes, we can lock them the fuck away and make them not society's problem.
Well, we do that the best we can in the United States, better than any other country, right? We've got 1/3 of the population is either on probation or in jail of the United States.
Well, that's also there's also another issue with that.
Okay.
That's not eugenics. Eugenics is not the purpose in that. The purpose in that is the for-profit prison system, the over-criminalization of activities. Just because somebody smokes weed does not make them an ignorant savage not deserving to be a part of society. It's being low IQ, being intentionally stupid, and committing violence over words, or because you don't get your way, that makes them those things.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Bibe as to why he believes that we ought tolerate other groups or other people that we disagree with, like in the concept of, let's just say, the 1/3 that's on probation or whatever state control that exists, right? Why ought we tolerate that? Why ought we accept it in our society?
And that's for me?
Yeah, you're the one that basically pushing back that we ought do something about it.
Yeah, no, okay. So I do not think we should tolerate that at all, right? I am on OG's side 100% that I am hating how much tolerance we have for bad behavior. I'm just
I'm
going
to step away to use the bathroom, and
no, men are not allowed in the bathroom if you're a girl. Girls are not allowed in the men's bathroom, right? Like, just stupid stuff that, like, it should not be tolerated. Those I agree. Like, in my, like, I want to be a good guy, but at the same time I want to be a bad guy. Like, it just, I want to remove the people that have that stupidity in their minds. I actually agree with OG on a lot of these things. My point really,
let me clarify some more.
Go on.
So if some of us have a prescription of, let's just say we have a prescription that these people ought not be able to breed, and we try to state mandate that, right? What exactly is wrong with that? That would be a form of, we want to get rid of it.
Well, okay. So, I mean, I used to do educating, and I saw the worst kids come from the worst parents. I saw the best kids come from the worst parents. I saw the worst kids come from the best parents. Regardless of the eugenics of the parents, I found that the kids actually had completely random outcomes based on how they were, like, whatever the genetics they had were born with. Some, like, a good kid growing up in a good parenthood may never succeed because they have that. But another kid,
skip through it. We'll skip through it. We'll concede that the environment's different, right? And then there's probably no predictable outcome to basically determine within that group, you know, who's worthy of investing any effort in and who's worthy of just, like, dumping off into the ocean. We'll concede that, right? We still, the damn question is why ought we not tolerate it?
Well, so I'm okay not tolerating it. And I'm cool with not tolerating it through removing government assistance. And I mean, I think people that do not participate and do not help everything move forward should be removed from
isolationist, separationist, segregationist.
No, I wouldn't put them in camps. I would just say, you know what? I'm not putting on your welfare. You got to freaking pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And you've got to figure it out. I am not somebody I'm not a leftist that says we have to make
right. So why can't we remove them from society? I'm going to keep backing it up further and further. Why can't we remove them from our society?
Well, what does removing mean?
Let's hypothetically say you do something I disagree with, like as a fundamental, whatever it is, right?
So would that be deleting them?
I pick you up?
Or would that be putting them into?
Why can't I pick you up, take you to the nearest ocean, and dump you off?
Okay,
why can I not do that?
Right. So
that's what it is.
Yeah. So we want to delete the people, and I could see how that might actually help society. However, I don't believe in deleting people. I don't believe in deleting babies.
So it's just a preference. You disagree because you don't like the path that some of us have decided. Or a path.
Yeah,
that
actually,
we
I mean that
basically
that
want.
would be an accurate statement, right? So I don't believe that the government should ever have enough power to kill somebody. If somebody comes into my house, I don't mind killing him. By the way,
So you disagree
I'm
with the death
protecting my
penalty?
family, right?
Do you disagree
But
with the death? Do you disagree with the death penalty?
yes, I do. I do not think the
Okay, so
government
how
should be
do
able to
you
kill people.
control? How do you control the groups or the people within your society that you just don't believe
So we
be
put,
able to
we put
interact
the
with our
idiots, we
society?
put the idiots in jail, which is cheaper than killing somebody, right? Because they sit on death row and so many different things. They've done tons of statistics on that.
No,
But
I fundamentally disagree with that. I don't agree with the entire appeals process, and I also don't care. I realize it's there to protect, the potential of innocent, basically executing some innocent people, right? I just don't care about the efficiency of it. So if we were to get rid of the appeal process and start executing people within, say, 30 or 45 days, that's good enough for me.
yeah, that would make it a lot cheaper, right? And then it would make it economically beneficial. I agree with you on that.
Sure, right. It's the empathy. It's quite literally the empathy that's so expensive in our society.
Well, the
When we
empathy
start talking
is
about the
that
concept
we
of
have
caring.
found that some have been innocent, and we don't want to kill innocent people. And personally, and this is just my view, right? I feel like I am an individual, and I don't want the government to have the capability to kill me. I don't want them to have a law that can kill me. I don't want them to even if they think I did something wrong, I don't want them to ever have the ability to kill me. Right? I think any government that can kill its own citizens is a bad government. However, I totally if somebody were to rape my daughter, sorry, I didn't mean to do that on there. Grape my daughter, I want their dick cut off, right? I mean, totally. Like, I am not like this pacifist. And like I said, if somebody came in my house, I have a gun within like 1 foot of my desk, and I will fucking shoot them. Right.
Wait,
so I'm not this like libtard that like is totally killing.
Yeah, you're making this personal about you. Nobody gives a shit about your reputation.
No, but
you
I mean,
agree that you have the ability to basically delete somebody that does something against you. You just oppose the government doing. Am I understanding that description correctly?
Because I mean, look at all the things the government has done. Do you think the government is really good at doing what they do? I personally do not think the government's very good at doing what they do.
I think the government is absolutely the entity that is perfect at getting rid of people.
Right. So in your scenario, when you said, yes, I'm cool with dumping them in the ocean, basically deleting them. But are you talking only about people that commit crimes? Or are you talking about people that have an IQ under this?
No. I am a race supremacist. So I would absolutely want like 2/3 of the population gone.
Okay. So what is your premise for that? Would it be IQ, color, race?
It's real simple. It's like tribal. They ain't us.
Okay. So just color.
Oh no, it wouldn't just be color. No, God, no.
Okay,
it would be
IQ.
economical too. At the age of 18, if you're not productive, well, if you're male at 18, if you're a female at 25, and you're not productive, aka you don't at least have your first job, no, bye.
All right. So basically, oh my God, I think there was a movie in the 70s. What was it called?
Yeah, I'm the extremist here. OG is actually quite mild compared to me.
And hey, by the way, Josh, I know numbers. I love numbers. It's my favorite thing. I can actually concede to you saying that in your philosophy, the numbers actually probably work out really, really good. Right?
Forget the numbers. This is just my personal assessment of the groups that I disagree with. That's preference, right? That's why I'm not holding you to a preference.
Yeah, no,
However, what I don't understand is how you get to a prescription.
But so for me, I am a numbers guy, right? And what you're prescribing actually probably would produce some pretty good numbers overall economically. But I don't think
it would absolutely tank our economy.
Welcome to the show, Gorilla Biscuits. Welcome to the show, Duale. Thank you guys for tuning in.
It would absolutely tank our economy if we took out 2/3 of the population.
Well, no. So here's the thing, right? We have productive people that aren't the smartest people in the world. And if you're a supremacist or white people, we have white people running trains. They're not the brightest, but they show up on time every day. They go to work. That person would not be thrown in the ocean, right? Just because they're not the smartest one, They got 2 kids. They're running the train. They're doing their job every day, right?
Yeah, but it's still a preference base, right? I'm more interested in the prescription, right? When you say, I disagree with these people, right? But we'll have to do something, right? Or at least I'm on the sidelines of, no, we're not obligated to do anything aside from, I don't know, manufacture some bullets to get rid of the problem. Outside of that, I don't really understand how you would come to this idea that we have to do anything.
Wait, my idea that we have to do anything. You're saying
my prescription is get rid of them. Your prescription seems to be something else. What is that something
Your prescription
else?
is get rid of them, and my question would be, who is them? Is that all third world countries? Is that all people of a specific
fuck,
race?
absolutely.
Is that all
I am an
people?
imperialist.
What
I'm an
is that
imperialist.
prescription?
Yeah,
That's
I'm an
not
imperialist.
true, Josh. That's not true, Josh.
What's not true?
You can't be. You married a Oriental.
Yeah, no. It's like the Roman Empire expanding, and imperialism is just a constant state of expansion. If we can defeat our neighbor, we should defeat our neighbor. But again,
Josh,
this is back to preference, right? Fuck this shit. It
Who are
doesn't
the
matter what
ones
I
that we
want
need to get
versus
rid
what
of?
you want. What is the prescription?
But that's what I'm asking you, right? Like, who are those? And is it based on IQ? Is it based on race? Is it based on economic status?
Based on
Who are
productivity.
those ones that we
The
should
starting
throw in
point
the
would be
ocean?
based off of productivity.
Okay, so productivity only.
Y'all are discussing shit that ain't even real.
This is true.
Yeah, we're going to disagree on what productivity is going to entail. That's across the board, right? That's why it's
Don't worry about
preference-based.
productivity. Like, productivity is cool. Like, I'll agree with you. Let's just pretend we do it on productivity, right? That's great. So that is not based on race. It's not based on IQ. You can be the dumbest MFer out there in the world, but as long as you can put the widget into the next widget and work on an assembly line, you're still productive, correct?
Probably, yes.
Yeah. So
What's up, Lee Fang? How you doing, darling?
So it's not based on IQ. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're just looking at.
Yeah, I don't care. I fundamentally don't care about the thoughts that are in your head. I don't fundamentally give a shit about the color of your skin. I don't care whether you're dumb or smart. I care what you do.
Okay. And then if you're not doing anything, then we throw you in the ocean.
Yeah, then you go into the ocean or volcano or bullet, right? Take your pick. Doesn't matter.
By what age?
18 for males, 25 for females. 24, technically, I think.
I mean, do we?
Josh, really I'm about to have to come in.
Do we really?
As soon as I get through vibe, hold on. Josh, I'm about to come in with my 1911 cocked. When I get through eating my sandwich and drinking my soda, I'm gonna have to give you some pushback.
Of course,
I hate to do it because I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but you're half-ass measure. You're half-ass measuring some things, and you're going extreme on some things that are irrelevant.
Yeah, of course. But here's the difference, right? I at least came up with the prescription of we should get rid of them. Vibe is in the prescription of have to sit down and think of.
You try to put a bullet in my head, you better bring an army.
No, we've been doing
and
that.
I'm probably going to take out like 3 or 4 of you motherfuckers too. So it's going to be a counterproductive policy. Because you're going to lose a half a dozen of so-called productive people for every one person you try to take out.
So, Josh, by the way, I wasn't actually contradicting you, but you said we have to take out these people. And all I was trying to do was narrow down who those people were, right? And we actually got down. We got to it. You said
we're all going to agree.
All right. Big Papa National Socialist is back. All right. So, vibe. I agree with Josh over you. Plain and simple. Our prescriptions are different, and you're gonna learn a lot about what I believe and what Josh believes. And while I love Josh to death, and he is being hyperbolic, I do believe so, but it's time to be hyperbolic in these strange times because our enemies are literally trying to kill us. So, Josh, first and foremost, I agree with you. I do, however, see that there's a distinction between a lack of productivity because of a disability being brought up by being reared as a child, i.e., a childhood injury, or a injury of a worker or an older parent. Those are three things. Those are the people that we should protect. We should protect the weak in our society because it makes us stronger. It makes us better people.
Yeah. We're not talking about the exceptions currently, right? I'm just trying to get to a prescription from Vibe.
Yeah, no, I know, and maybe us having this conversation will help Vibe get to the prescriptions and understand what we are saying better. Because, and I know you like being hyperbolic to both fuck with people and to prove the point. So, and I think you and I actually agree more so along the lines. I think the only difference that we actually have in mindset is you support the corporations, I support the individual.
Yeah, we just have economical differences. That's about it. I just can't really contend with you and Dennison's. I call it you use the word humanitarian side of it. I can't really contend with that.
Well, because that's the whole point. If it's not making humanity better, healthy and happier, then it has no point.
Well, no. So the humanitarian effort is basically, it's always been the case that the humanitarian effort has been pointed toward the people that we fundamentally don't want in our society. AKA the example of, oh, well, if we don't want them in our society, right, we should put them in cages. That seems to be kind of, that seems to be the humanitarian effort. We can't kill them, right? But we have to put them in cages.
Well, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. I agree with you. We can kill them. I don't care.
Right. But it's still, I can't contend with the humanitarian side from it. Just because
my thing is there's things like my system, my beliefs. One, there are many ways of being productive. Production is
don't
a very
disagree.
vast,
Disagree.
Yeah, you can be an artist and be productive to society. Right?
Sure.
You can be poor and be productive to society. You can speak on a soapbox and be productive for society. But when you have a society of people that do not want to get off their asses and contribute something to humanity, yeah, no. Get them out of here. Bounce. Another thing, you mentioned you don't want to create a world where all men is a resource. You turn 18, here's a shovel, get to work. Right? You want to build men up so that they can have social mobility, they can innovate, and they can create. Right? So I have no problem by your metric if by 18 they should be starting on that journey if we have a society in place. Give me 1 second, guys. Alawine, is that you, brother man?
Who, neighbors?
Alrighty. So if we have a system in place that is teaching these men the skills to be innovative, to work, to be productive, we are building them up and giving them every opportunity to do these things. Now, if we do that and they choose to not be productive, to not benefit themselves and society, then yes, get rid of them. They're not what you want in your gene pool. They're not what you want in your society. Right. But it's all predisposed to your society doing everything it needs to create a life indicative to humans actually. I don't think
anybody actually subjectively. Yeah, but I don't think anybody on this panel subjectively disagrees with it, right? We just disagree on the details. Fine and dandy, right? I'm only trying to contend with the get rid of them part. It's the humanitarian.
I told you what I was from day one, Joe Cool. You can come up and try to dispute it, but I told you what I was. A scorpion. If you carried me across the river, that's your fault.
Let me see if I can break this down a little simpler here, right? So some of us on one side basically believe in get rid of them, right? But people on the other side, aka, and I'll put the humanitarian label on it, say, no, we can't just get rid of them. We have to do something else, aka educate them, aka put them in cages, aka, do something else that requires some effort. My fundamental question comes down to is why? Why ought we put in any effort?
Because if you just throw somebody to nature and say survive, we are social creatures. Our entire existence is on working with one another to learn said skills of survival. Right?
Wouldn't they get that? Wouldn't they? Okay, so basically, they're coming from families, right? Their family is going to be their first, I guess, social structure, if that's what you want to call it. That's the starting point. Assuming that's fundamentally where it comes from. If you haven't figured it out by a certain age, I'm just arbitrarily saying 18, and then it extends off out into the rest of the world, right? Again, I don't think we really disagree so much. It's the whole point of once we get to whatever this arbitrary line is, why are we obligated to promote these people that we tend to disagree with?
The issue that you and I are having, the differences that you and I are having is the numbers that you propose. In your world, the numbers are 2/3 of humanity, because you're proposing something in which it's arbitrary and society is not doing its due diligence to create better men. In my world, society is doing what it needs to do to create better men and thus better families. So the numbers of non-productive people are so much lower, they are almost non-existent. Now, I believe in second chances and rehabilitation. If somebody has been in a situation in which they are a criminal, they are doing what they have to do to survive, you can put them in a box. You can educate them. You can force them to be better. If they then go through that rehabilitation, that education, and they squander it, and they show you.
Can you give me an example just so I can follow along?
The European prison model.
No, I got that. I meant like a type of person that you would support the idea of rehabilitation. Past the point of 18.
Any person that hasn't done something like child touching or murder.
Yeah, we're still not going to disagree. Go to something that we might disagree with.
And when it comes to murder, you would have to do it on a case-by-case basis, because if a motherfucker's family member or somebody they love was hurt by somebody, and somebody ups the tool on them and dispatches them, that's still murder. Would anybody say that person needs to be put down? No, I would say that
we're not going to. We're generally not going to disagree. Go down to something that you think we might disagree at. Jaywalking, right? Like an asshole crosses the street, jaywalks or some shit like that. Should we get rid of them because they broke a rule within society?
No.
Right. So no, there would be
I actually have the perfect example. Arbitrary and superfluous rules that are put into place to have a theater of security or wrongdoing, right? Most ethics and laws I don't care about, so I disregard. And in your world, I'd be somebody that gets put down. Right.
Yeah, I think we all fundamentally all do.
Yeah, and in your world, you would get Ted Kaczynski'd by me. Because there are times of time where you have to fight oppression and evil. Oh. Damn.
Vibe is gone. God damn it. I wanted to get to his prescription.
Yeah. But just throwing people to the wolves at 18 or any arbitrary age where you as society as a whole has not prepared them is absolutely asinine. But having so many useless laws and expecting people to follow them
let's work on the framing of that. Would it be the case that they're being actually thrown to the wolves at, let's say, starting the age of 18? the structure that they came from, aka their family, wouldn't that be who they would rely on?
Yes and no.
Okay,
because
cool.
because their family.
What's the no part?
But the no part is society as a whole does have a responsibility to all its members, right? You should be able to go from coast to coast and all in between in the borders of your land and be welcomed and trusted by your extended neighbors, your extended family, i.e. the nation and society, and be welcomed and trust that you will do your part to help them be prosperous because they're doing your part. It's about being in a high trust society.
Sure.
So if the labor market is in a tight squeeze, say in Georgia where I'm at in a rural area, I should be able to go anywhere within my country to find a job. There should be open opportunities for anybody within our country to do this.
Well,
find education for that.
Wouldn't the businesses the ones be providing that service, aka the job? Then you take the job to provide for yourself from whatever that is. You might have to live on a little freaking cardboard box the side of a farm if you decide to go to the other side of the country, right? And pick tomatoes, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You should be provided a place to where you yourself can have a family of no less than 2 children.
Provided for by whom? Provided for by whom?
Well, preferably by your own labor. There should be regulations in place. There should be regulations in place where the profit of a business is calculated after a fair labor wage, a fair day's work pay for a fair day's work. And it should, and this is something that society should help one another on. There are businesses that could be started to help privately. There are government subsidies that could be handed out to help with this.
Yeah, we're both going to end up to a higher cost economy. I already know this one, right?
The economy, the boomer's dream of cheap prices is dead, and it needs to go out with the boomer.
Yeah, it's going to go out whether we take your prescription or my prescription. So economy is just nulled itself out. So we use yours.
The Keynesian economics is retarded, and it's a path for humanity that has been devastating.
Yeah, okay, so if it's the case that take your prescription, right? Yes, it's going to be the case that the government's going to basically force, let's just say, whatever a high minimum wage is, right?
But it's not even necessarily the government. It is literally society going, okay, Timothy is working at McDonald's and he's being productive.
That's Timothy what I said.
Timothy is not happy because he cannot.
Yeah, but that's what I meant by asking by whom, right? I would think that it's the onus is on the family to promote their children, even if it's the case that the kid's 40 years old, right? If he needs assistance, it's supposed to go to the family. However, if you're bringing in the outside, something outside, it's going to go through government. We all know this. I can't imagine anything that's not going to be government based.
It could be through the church, through their religious institutions.
I can give church, right? If I donate to the church and the church is spending for housing and assistance, okay, no problem, right? That's outside of government. I'll grant you that, right?
It could be
asking like assistance by whom?
It can be personal associations such as groups, and I'm using this because I'm using this example because of Wizard. It could be a group.
Well, let me get specific. Let me get specific. Within your prescription, am I obligated? Let's just say I'm in New York, right? And we're talking about somebody that's moving to California. Am I obligated in any way to assist this person as being a non-family member, not just a complete stranger? Am I obligated in any form to help this guy go to California and pick tomatoes or whatever the fuck it is?
So yes and no. There is no. Give me
the yes part.
The yes part is it is in your mutual best interest as a member of society to trust this person and to aid in their enrichment. The
Okay,
no part,
now-
the no part is it is not your obligation if it is a detriment to your resources or your
Yeah,
family's.
I don't. We're not going to disagree on the no part. We might disagree on the yes part. That's why I basically focused on that. The yes part is in aid. You use the word aid. Like, what does that look like? Am I obligated to donate to his church over in California? Am I obligated to pay taxes that to the government that ultimately provides aid to him? What's that mechanism?
The government part, yes. The taxes part, yes.
So the
And
government
you also have a due diligence and duty to your society if your government is being corrupt and not appropriately allocating your tax dollars to remove that government.
Inserting it in there, I don't want to get too complicated, right? So it is the case that it would be government that's you are prescribing that government is supposed to government assistance.
Yes.
In some form or another. Okay, I got it.
Yes, we pay taxes to the government for these things. Our taxes, we don't have a king. We don't have an individual that we enrich through our productivity because whatever fucking dumbass asinine reason we did that in years past as humans.
Sure. Yeah, so we're back to that point of now I just have to ask you the same question is was asked to Vibe. Why ought I give a fuck about Tom going over to California to pick tomatoes, right? Why should I care? Why should I allow my tax dollars?
Do you want Tom to I'm gonna just put it in break to do you want Tom to rape your family and murder you to get what he wants and needs out of life?
Because if it's the case that Tom needs to rape, pillage, and plunder within our society, I will automatically deem him as an outsider and he got to go.
But that's the thing. High trust societies work both ways, right? If you want a bunch of pirates and Vikings, it is in your best interest to support systems that build men up.
Well, so now I'm assuming that building up part already took place within the age of 18. That onus was on the parents.
It's not just on the parents; it's also on society. If someone's parents are addicts and they fail them, it is on society, whether it be through private, i.e., our personal associations or government programs. In the perfect system, and we're speaking in the perfect system tense. We're not speaking in reality right now.
Yeah. This is all hypothetical to anybody who's listening.
If that be the case, then if the parents fail, the onus, because it is in the best interest of society, again, whether it be private or public or personal association, because there is a difference in the three. And I'll give some examples, right? Personal association groups like and I'm gonna catch some heat here. Groups like the Klan, the Black Panthers, the organizations that exist for the advancement of people, of your people, right? If these things existed for their intended purposes and their stated purposes, they would be having soup kitchens, education centers that are benefiting for their people, right? That's a personal association, right? The private institutions like the churches and maybe altruistic rich people that realize that they benefit in a society not surrounded by ignorant retards, and they do exist, and it is a selfish reason they exist, those associations and rich people and private, because they don't want to deal with
my fundamental disagreement is I think my fundamental disagreement is if mommy and daddy fail, but let's just I'll use your example. If they're drug addicts, right, and they produce little Tommy, and little Tommy's incapable of being productive because he just was raised in a shitty ass environment, I have no problems, at least by the age of 18, adulthood, however we want to define that, of he goes into Volcano 2 with his parents.
Well, because of your inability to understand the complexities of human life and the need to uplift people and give them the chance to be uplifted, you go into Volcano. because it's better for society. You by your belief and your standards are hurting the high trust values within our society. And that in turn is the balance that keeps the system working.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to think that there'd be exceptional cases. If it's the case that we're raised up never believing that a safety net exists past a certain age, right? I think that struggle is very real in your face. And I think it motivates people enough, if they want to survive, to survive.
Well, Josh, you're also coming from the bias of a society that had those safety nets. I'm looking at the totality of human existence.
Yeah,
when I formulate my opinions and beliefs.
This would be true. I would roll it back to like basically the 1920s.
And again, if you roll it back to the 1920s, you get more of a system that I'm actually describing to you.
Sure. Yes. But there also wasn't any there were social safety nets, right? But very few, at least compared to what we have today.
Yeah, the problem isn't the social safety nets or how much is spent in those social safety nets. It's the allocation, the racial preference, and the I won't say racial preference. I'll say tribalism within them.
How do we get away from tribalism? Because I mean, if we pit my family against your family, I mean, which side do you think I'm going to fall on?
Well, you'll fall on my side because I'll just conquer your land and make your family my family.
But that's fundamentally where we're at here.
No, that's kind of the point, because either you get barbarism and you get warlords who take over your shit and make your family their family, or you work together as a society and progress humanity forward.
Well, you know what I liked about barbarism? Everybody was pretty much going to follow the rules because there was a staunch overthrow. I mean, they were either going to run away, which that's an option, I guess, or it was the case that they were going to comply because, well, it was going to cost their survivalism.
Bluegrass. If you're not making 6 figures a year, volcano.
Well, okay, so he's being hyperbolic, but that is my yeah, that would be my line, right? But I can't throw OG under the bus here, unfortunately. Right?
Not only because I'm a fat ass, but because I will shoot you.
So there would be a concept of favoritism, right? If I feel like you are in my tribe, right, I'm going to reach out and take my resources to assist you. So it kind of fixes. Society would kind of fix itself in that way. Now, if you're like on Vibe's side, right, and
you wouldn't give them a chance though by your prescription, Josh. They don't get that second chance.
Well, no. The second chance would come down to me as the other person, right? Not me as in or my side as in the government, right? I wouldn't expect the government to step up and save OG. I would expect me. I'd be like, oh, well, fuck it. You're on the other side of the continent. You know, fuck it. You're not doing so well. I'm going to come over there, pick you up, bring you back to, well, in this case, it'd be like upstate New York, right? Motherfucker, you're going to live here with me until you can figure shit out, right? But for right now, I'm going to take care of you until then.
Yeah, and that should be the goal of having a tribe or having a personal association with somebody. But correct, we all pay taxes to the government. So when that system fails, there needs to be one last line of defense. And that's
the difference, right? Within this dynamic, your tax bracket's not covering it, right? But mine is. However, right, I don't want my taxes to go to here.
You benefit by having those poor masses, those people that cannot fend for themselves, because they're not just going to let you delete them or remove them.
Oh, sure.
So you benefit in a legalistic sense by taking care of those people, educating those people, and not propping them up. Propping them up is the opposite of what you want to do. by forcing them to become better, you benefit in that case because they're not stealing from you. They're not saying, "Oh, you have a pretty daughter. I can't find a wife. Well, this is mine now." You are benefiting them by giving them the opportunity to be desirable men, by giving them the opportunity to be productive, and you're benefiting. If you're wealthy and you own these businesses, you're getting a healthier workforce, you're getting a happier workforce, you're getting a more productive workforce. You are eventually going to make more money and be even higher on the social hierarchy.
Yeah,
because
if there's a personal connection, I've got you. Like, I'm up to that part, right? So it would be the case like with the church, right? Let's just say you're a church or whatever organization that wants to.
These personal connections, these personal connections come and go as you interact with society. Is it going to be? Is it actually going to be perfect? Is every person going to be? No, there's still going to be crime. There's still going to be people doing stupid shit, and that's okay. When they fuck up once, you be like, all right, you don't slap them on the wrist. You go, okay, you fucked up. You owe a debt to society. You do your time. You give them reasonable time. If somebody does something and their debt to society is more than 5 years and an education, they deserve the death penalty. Plain and simple. Like the Soviets were right about something. You don't give a huge portion of somebody's life in an institution.
I agree with you up until you get down to where it's the government's position to provide the aid. You want to put it on the church, no problem.
If we pay taxes to the government, they have to render services. It doesn't matter. If you want to say, here's the thing. If you want to say people under that tax bracket don't have to pay taxes, fine. They don't get the services offered by the government.
No. We don't have to go that far. So yes, it is the case.
Well, of course, you're an agent. Of course, they pay your salary. You want the taxes.
Well, no. The government is the fact that the government's going to pay or they're going to take care of the roads, right? They're going to possibly take care of at least the first through 12th grade schools and stuff like that, right? So we agree that the taxes will go in. I don't know I don't know about hospitals yet.
Hospitals and the welfare of the citizenry. Is the duty of the government. That's the whole.
I'm unconvinced on the hospitals yet, but I'm. Well, that's a sidebar. But the concept of like the roads, right? Yeah. So the government's going to provide services, aka the roads, right?
Josh is becoming a national socialist before your eyes, ladies and gentlemen.
Josh is very he's got the nationalist part down, right? The only part with the nationalist part that we disagree is, well, he they hate the corporations, right? I'm not so much.
I don't even hate the corporations. I think we need to legally rein them in. Like they were pre Dodge Brothers suit.
Yeah, you want the government to get involved and regulate the businesses to a degree that I probably don't. I disagree with.
You agree with them, but because you're a corporate stooge, I love you to death. But because you're a corporate stooge, you're afraid to speak out on it.
I am a participant.
Companies were more profitable when they were forced to. Corporations were more profitable when they were forced to be at the benefit of the public, because there was an incentive to them to reinvest into the public.
I guess we probably just disagree on that. Money. Yeah. Well,
when you pay your workers more money, maybe and you produce a better product, and they spend money on what they buy. They literally buy back they give their money back to the corporations they work in, and they spend money on other things boosting the economy. And then if you give them time to spend with their family, Henry Ford wrote about this. Henry Ford was the most based capitalist to ever exist. So I'm literally getting my ethics from corporatists.
Yeah,
when it comes to corporations.
If the environment would support it, but that or at least our environment doesn't support it. That's
our environment doesn't support it because we're owned and operated by internationalists who don't give a fuck about humanity and want to destroy us and oppress us because they are literally sociopathic retards that know nothing but they're literally parasites. And we have to rid ourselves of these parasites, Josh.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know if we agree on who the parasite is, but well, maybe in theory,
two things can be true. Like, I hate communists because they'll show these fucking poor homeless people like these are not the parasites, and they'll show like these rich people like these are, and I'm like, well, I mean, two things can be true. Both are actually parasites.
I happen to like the communists. They are really good at producing cheap labor. That's the one thing they're really fucking good at. Why can't I take advantage of that? I don't want them as my next door neighbor. I don't want them in my country.
Cheap labor destroys your economy. Slavery destroys your economy. And that's what cheap labor is slavery. Let's boil it down to brass tacks. It destroys your economy because there's less people participating in the economy to the fullest extent that they can. It also demeans the tax base. It destroys and I'm going to say something that's going to make boomers come. It destroys the GDP. It literally has benefit only for the top tier echelons of parasites, and it eventually makes more and more of the low tier parasites.
I don't think we disagree, at least not fundamentally. Let me go back to the slavery part, right? So why is it that we can't? So if you're talking about reform, productivity, right? So some motherfucker decides that they want to go.
The government should be allowed. The government should be allowed to use convicts as forced labor. I don't disagree with you. They should be allowed. If you're in prison for that 5-year minimum or maximum that I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
The government should be able to take you from a prison camp in Georgia, ship your ass via train or bus or plane to Ohio, and rebuild the fucking infrastructure there if that's where you're needed.
Within this prescription, are privatized businesses allowed to utilize that labor force? Like,
if it's purely for public infrastructure, yes. If it's to help private farmers bring in their crops, sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If it's a time of war or shortage and they have to go work in the mines, sure. But what you want to do is you want to maximize the amount of people working in the private sector. If there's a labor shortage, sure.
Yeah,
but what you don't want to do is incentivize corporations to rely on this forced labor that we're discussing as a means to make profit. Because if that is the case, they are hurting the economy.
Yeah. Now we're back to disagreeing. Shit.
Yeah, but it hurts the economy, Josh. And you as a corporatist should not want the economy to be hurt. It is in your interest to not. Now, if there's a labor shortage, if people are striking because their fucking communism is fucking rebel rousing, yeah. So bringing the inmate scabs.
Here's where we, I guess, where we end up breaking apart, right? So, the corporatist they have that ability to, fundamentally not be national.
No, they don't.
If they decide that another nation is more profitable, they just go that direction.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No, that's the current situation. That is the current situation.
That's the current situation. But in the preferable and desirable situation, they don't. They're treated as traitors, and they are hung on the county steps.
Until that point gets there, I'm going to have to stay on the corporatist side.
Well, I mean,
This is why
I get that. I get that, and I get where you're coming from. But, and again, that's why I call you a corporate stooge, because you know the truth by this conversation that we're having. You know how it ought to be.
I know this truth by participation.
Yeah, you know how it ought to be. And because the current situation is what it is, instead of trying to push for a better, preferable situation, because no system will be perfect. There will always be kinks and things to work out as you go.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not trying to like, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what perfection was if I saw it. Like if it just slapped any of us in the face, I don't think we'd actually know it. But so I don't really fundamentally disagree with like a lot of the parts to it. It's how you get there. That I don't see happening without some extremely staunch rule sets. And unfortunately, we're back to that part where you're going to have to take a staunch line. And
we're getting there. We're getting back there because this multipolar world that's coming is going to make a realignment. And this populism by Trump, this fucking retarded bullshit by Trump, is showing people that nationalism works. And the people are real.
Nationalism works if you get the people on board. I don't think the people are on board.
The people aren't going to be on board as long as corporations are allowed to go, rah, 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 America. But fuck you. Your job is actually in Vietnam. Your job is actually in Mexico. Your job is actually in China.
If you're employed by me, your job is in Vietnam.
And
just letting you know that.
Well, and if we bring the jobs back and you don't work for peanuts, we'll just import the third world to do it.
Yeah, just to be fair, I'm going to tell you now, as the way the situation works, this whole like bring back jobs or bring back industries, it's not going to happen. Now, it could be the case that people within, let's just say within the United States, they could promote and build their own industries and then compete with us outwards, like let's just say 10 years. But the idea that we're coming back, not really likely.
Not without a national mandate. That ain't going to happen.
Exactly.
Even with a national mandate, you can't make that happen.
Oh, you can. You absolutely can. You can bar those corporations from doing business in the United States. You can tax the ever living fuck. Here's the thing: we should have never taxed we should never have tariffed our allies. We should have tariffed American corporations that did business in foreign nations and made them pay an exorbitant amount of tax for having their production outside of the U.S.
Yeah, if you don't bring your company back, tag them. Exactly.
Here, I'll give an example. So one of mine,
and that's what Trump promised to do, and that's why his gay ass populism, you people fell for it, and that's my beef with the Trump supporters. You fell for it because you knew this billionaire was never gonna fucking do that, and you want that done, and you don't hold him and his fucking faction accountable. And you still want me to support this motherfucker because he keeps promising to do it. And you go, well, he'll do it this time. No, these rich politician motherfuckers do not have your best interests at heart. Stop voting in millionaires and billionaires. That even means people like Bernie Sanders.
So it sounds good, right? Not plausible. And I'll give an example. I'm just going to use my stuff as an example. So I'm involved in pharmaceutical. It's basically venom extraction. More specifically, it's scorpion extraction, right? And here's how they absolutely can't mandate or force us back. If I return to my state, I think the corp tax on there is somewhere around 33%, whereas in Vietnam it's 4%. Plus, in Vietnam, I get the benefit of, I think, they don't have like hourly wages. Like that's not like per hour. They don't have a thing like that. That doesn't exist here. It's basically salary by month is effectively how it plays out. But I think it equals out to something around somewhere between 22 and 38 cents an hour. So I've got the lower tax rate for the corporation, plus I've got the cheap labor. However, there are other problems that come with it. It has to be, the venom has to be extracted, converted over to a solid format, which is basically like a powder, because apparently you can't mail liquid venom in the mail. Didn't know that. It goes to Europe, then it gets converted into, and I believe the vast majority of it is either arthritis medication or anti-inflammatories, probably some shit that goes into Tylenol.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, probably into some Tylenol or some shit like that, right? They make up those drugs mostly in Europe, right? And then that goes into the United States. So like there's three steps. There's three steps with me.
1 second, Josh. 1 second.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the content, the conversation, please consider donating to the Cash App, Ko-fi, or Stream Elements. We will not be ending until we get to the gardening section, but I will be getting there relatively soon.
Yeah.
And just nip this conversation in the bud.
Yeah, you guys are going circles right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I originally started this trying to question Vibe on his prescription.
Yeah. And I had to shove my dick in here and actually stop you from self-emulating to just fuck with Vibe about him being a liberal.
Well, it wasn't really a fuck with Vibe. It was trying to dig a prescription out from him that didn't involve some type of empathy.
Well, he's a liberal. That's the problem.
That's the thing, right? It's we've got to save people, but I don't think, I could be wrong about this. I don't think Vibe has anything other than I want to save everybody.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You can't save
I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any boundaries. And if you don't have the boundaries, then what is there to discuss, or at least what is there to compare to?
But I don't understand why you're even going this far into the rabbit hole, because it's never going to happen. You're not going to reach a point where you arbitrarily just start disposing of people. We're too far advanced.
Oh, we absolutely are going to start disposing of people, just not at the rate that I want. Wars are inevitable, and there will be another large scale one at some point in the future. I'd say 60, 70 years, but that is inevitable.
No, brother. I think that large scale war is on the horizon. I've started telling people all the time, don't be afraid of World War III, be afraid of World War IV, because that's when the nukes are going to get dropped. So.
Well, I know we just sent 5,000 troops to Poland.
So, but the social dynamics aspects, we've talked this to death.
Oh, did you guys hear about the part where Chud? I guess I forget where it was, but Chud had basically started this whole TikTok thing because he lost his job based off of, I don't know, he got into it with somebody on fucking road rage incident or some shit. There's some photos of him holding up a cross at some black girl. And what he ended up doing was, after losing his job, I guess he got a little upset and decided, well, fuck this. He's going to start being he's going to do the behavior that he's been doing.
Yeah,
have you guys
he's going to do the behavior he's accused of doing? Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, go ahead.
The cause for the behavior, I guess. You guys are aware of any of that? I don't even know how true it is.
Black woman in a Nissan Altima did black woman in a Nissan Altima things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Society is tired of it. And then,
so
because of America's.
The only thing that I blame Chud for is not dealing with the situation then and there. It was the kicking the can down the road that basically caused the escalation. AKA, he got to get on TikTok, say the stuff that he wanted to say, right? Of course, he's also got to draw in some funding. Obviously that was the dynamics he was going to go through, right? And it was inevitably going to be a conflict. But instead of it being a conflict with a Nissan girl, right? It was with the vet at courthouse.
Well, the dude at the courthouse pursued him for like 70 to 100 yards, and like there's a bunch of shit that's coming out, and it's the two-tiered justice system for that racial tribalism we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Chud's gonna walk. He's gonna walk, but the problem is that doesn't matter. the punishment is not him being convicted. The punishment is the process of him having to deal with this and pay the state money because America worships underdogs. They worship minority groups. They create special interest groups, and they worship these things because that's the political machine we have, and that's why our country is collapsing.
Don't
at least
disagree there.
At least politically.
Yeah. Don't disagree there.
Economically, we're in a pretty decent place, but because of half-assed measures from nepotistic retards who want to gut the institutions of our country, and these are on both sides, Democrat, Republican, Trump, and dumbass Trump faction. It's gonna eventually, the economy part's gonna be a bad thing too, and it's getting pretty bad now.
Are you pro or anti nepotism within corporations?
His punishment is the humiliation ritual of the justice system. I'm fine with nepotism in a private business.
Okay, yeah.
A corporation is a public business. People go, it's private. It's sold. It's bought and sold on the public market. It is a public business.
Yeah, you're talking about the stock. So the like within the stock market, basically, if they've got publicly
within the owner, it's the ownership of the business. If it is a private business owned by a private individual and not publicly traded, I'm fine with nepotism. You can hire your family and run that bitch into the ground if you want to. Or it can be the best goddamn business that's ever existed because your family is high IQ and not fucking retarded. That is completely up to you. That is completely up to you. But if it is a publicly traded business, there is an expectation of meritocracy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My siblings, every damn one of them could die in a fucking ditch. Well, okay, half of them did, but the remaining one, he could die off in a ditch. I don't the IQ thing. Yeah, I don't know if that's family based, right? But they can fuck off. But I don't know how I'm not sure how I feel about this. Even on a publicly traded, I think it just boils down to whatever their charter dictates.
Well, their charter would dictate if they're publicly if they're publicly traded or not.
Yeah, but the charter also has their bylaws and the rules and stuff like that usually established before.
Yeah, but if it's gonna be publicly traded, there is an expectation of meritocracy. If it's gonna be private, you can do whatever the fuck you. I think you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want with your business. It's your business. It's your money. You're investing. And this whole what say Lou mentioned earlier, and I know if Dusty's watching, eventually he'll find a reason to comment about profit. These businesses will make profit regardless. I hate in Europe where high taxes are, they still make profit, still make enough profit to want to stay in business. There's still profit motive, and it's a non-starter with me.
Oh,
yeah.
I
meant to say that when Lou was here.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree. Fundamentally, well, the same thing, right? If somebody in the States wanted to do the same thing that I was doing, they could, in theory, do it, right? Actually, I don't think it really requires a lot of learning curve, but aside from that, no, it's incredibly doable. This is why I had that pushback. I don't think there's any mechanism that could draw me back. I would absolutely renounce my own citizenship if the U.S. government forced me to come back and under the same criteria that exists currently.
Well, I mean, you would just be fucking yourself in either situation.
Oh no,
because
some other country would benefit off of it.
Yeah, but you'd be locking yourself outside of one of the largest markets in the world, one of the most profitable markets in the world.
That's the thing, right? The only way that the market would get locked out is if the United States if the United States produced, right? So basically meaning that so some asshole there would have to be doing venom extraction, which it does happen actually, but they wouldn't be able to compete because of that tax rate. But
yeah,
that's
but
the point, right? If they produce that, then you would need to import.
Well, here's the thing, right? If the isolationism and the protectionism that I talk about get implemented, they would be able to compete because you wouldn't be allowed in the market because you refuse to move
Correct. Yeah.
the production back to
If
the
it was the case that they would be productive, if it was the case that somebody there could actually produce the same, right, and at the lower tax rate that I produce, right, then they would be able to actually compete, and then there would be no need for the import.
Yeah, and you could always offer subsidies for a short period of time to navigate that relocation. Or even setting up the production.
They actually do. Some kind of farmers thing. They actually do subsidize and help you get. There's all kinds of weird farmer shit, and that's what this is basically. I guess classified under as because it's venom extraction.
You would be farming and using animal husbandry to extract the venom, so it would fit under some type of agriculture.
Yeah. It's available. It's just not so beneficial, depending on state. Texas would be a hell of a lot better.
When you have to compete with communist third world hellholes that use slave labor, you're not going to be able to do that. And that's how the system currently operates, and that's how come I can tell you for a fact. As much as I love capitalism, we are not operating under a capitalist system.
Yeah, and this is why I said I love communists, is because they are very good at producing cheap labor.
Yeah, but we're gonna move on from this aspect because we are starting to actually circle. Dennis and Chuck, do y'all have any thoughts on the conversation Josh and I had?
Nope.
Denny, you there?
I try not to get off into the what if isms, because it turns into a giant circular mess that leads nowhere.
Well, we're talking about social dynamics, and that typically winds up happening because you can't talk about social dynamics without the what if, and we really kind of hammered out the social hierarchy and the social dynamics at the beginning of the conversation, in the beginning of the stream.
OG and I don't fundamentally disagree. We just can't.
He's just taking advantage of the system as is, and I want to change the system. And he's fine with changing the system, but he doesn't want to deal with the pains of the system changing.
Right.
I'm not coming back to deal with it fundamentally because I had to deal with it to get over here. If that makes any sense.
Well, didn't your boss just resign today?
I heard something. I don't know any details.
So does that mean that you might be able to move up into that position?
No. I have a horrible jacket. I am not. No, I will never receive a promotion. Matter of fact, I'm on my way out the door. Just waiting for. I actually honestly don't know what I'm waiting for. But no, I would. My jacket. I would never be up for promotion, and that would have never existed even 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I was an asshole that asked too many questions. That locked me out.
Mm-hmm.
See, what Josh is trying to say is he learned to be not idealistic. And I refuse to give up my idealism.
Well, he's also not a true patriot. He's not a true patriot, though. That's what's disturbing.
I would not. I would not like move my corporate or move any of my businesses back, or at least the ones that don't exist in New York. I wouldn't move them back.
Well,
it would take a lot of changes stateside for that to happen, and it just I don't see anything close to going in that direction.
I mean, you said you give up your citizenship for money. That's saying a whole lot.
If the United States forced me, so I'm not technically I'm a dual national, but not for Vietnam. The other one's for Europe. That's got nothing to do with anything. But if I was forced to choose, I would not choose the U.S. because I already have the advantage of basically the economics starting point. Ultimately, you would be right. The money, it would be more money to stay outside, and thus a better life for myself and my family.
Yeah, when your country fails you, you can't blame somebody for not being a patriot, Chuck. Because in all technicality, and I'm not trying to talk. I'm not. Hold on.
In this case, the moral standing is on the money.
Well, I mean, in all technicality, for all intents and purposes, I'd be considered a revolutionary, and that's not very patriotic because I'm fine with burning the system down, burning the flag down, changing the system from scratch.
Yeah, if I ever got elected as president, they wouldn't like me. The changes that I would do.
So by technicality, you and I are not actual patriots either, because patriots is loyalty to the system, and the system tends to stab patriots and lovers of their nation.
I'm loyal to the Constitution, but not to the system we have.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Because the system we have is the end result of manipulating the Constitution, and thus technically part of the Constitution. And since you and I are not loyal to that system, you and I would not be considered patriots.
Mm.
So that's why I say burn it down, and start over.
But I think Chuck's assessment of myself actually I think is a little bit more true than even that, right? Even going against the system to in effect change, right? That's actually a lot more of I'm going to say a moral standard, right? Whereas I don't even have that because my moral standard is the money.
Yeah, he doesn't want change. He doesn't want to fight for the change. He doesn't want to do anything. He wants to take the softer, easier road.
No, it's not even that. It's his duty. He's the father. His duty in the current situation of the world, because these changes have not been enacted, and for him to support these changes would literally hurt his family's income, hurt his family's resources. And a man's first duty is to their family before anything else. So I get where he's coming from, and that's all part of the social dynamic, right? So I get where he's coming from. I get where we're coming from. But the thing is,
I do want to say though, part of this is your fault, OG. So you put it in Ling Ling's head about those Chanel bags, and those Chanel bags are fucking expensive. I have you know. Thus, you put me in this situation where I have to stay out here and be increasingly productive.
It is a part. Hold on, let me do that. It is a part of the Chinese warfare, the fifth generation of warfare. You know what, to help affect change, I declare economic war on you, and you will go into debt buying Ling Ling, Chanel, and Versace clothes
until the government figures out that he has all those valuable Chanel's, then they will be after him.
Only if they foreclose, right? Like if I'm burdened by a tax, like basically I don't pay my taxes, and I have, as a U.S. citizen, I am obligated to pay U.S. taxes regardless of my geographical location. I could be on fucking Mars, and I still
as long as you're a citizen, correct?
Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Right? I can control more the corporation.
How do you benefit from a country that forces you to pay taxes and gives you no benefits back, and sends your money to third world hellholes and gives it to unproductive people in your country?
To be fair, I'm not unsatisfied with the income tax system. I'm really not that unsatisfied with it, right? Yes, I have to pay income taxes here in Vietnam as well as in the US, right? They have a credit system, some kind of weird treaty thing, right? But I don't disagree that I have to pay my income tax to the US, right? Because I still have homes there. I still have property there. I still have roads that connect to the property. I still have I'm actually kind of invested, at least, home. I'm definitely invested. And I do receive, we'll call benefits, right? I'm not really opposed to that. I really am not. I don't.
Well, hit your boy up on Discord and give me a job. Nepotism.
you want to come all the way over here? I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, no, dead ass. If you give me a job, I'll get a passport. Man. If you serious and you'll give me a job and I have to relocate, no, I have no problem with it.
No, passport's only $180. I hook you up. I just don't think you're going to be satisfied with the area. Even I don't like living here, right? But there's plenty of Linglings running around here.
Hey, Ling already tried to set me up. You heard him?
Yeah, he did. She's got some single friends. Oh, hey, and check this out. They like pudgy boys.
Let's go. All right. I'll be a passport.
All of them. All of her friends pick them. Oh, you're too skinny. You need to fatten up, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Like the whole pudgy boy. I guess apparently it's some kind of weird sign of like wealth or something that you might.
Yes, it is
a weird culture thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been portrayed in movies for years.
To them, that's appealing. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Let's go.
You peasant material.
I am. When I meet people, they automatically think that I'm less. I'm kind of poor. I'm like, what? Yep.
Let's get to the Brotherhood portion. And I'm gonna do a monologue unless Dennison is here on that. Then I'm gonna move to the gardening stuff because I'm gonna finish out all topics, but I'm gonna try to do so within under 3 hours if there are. Or under 3 hours if I'm getting little donos, because I like hanging out with you guys, and like I said, I would stream regardless. But my time is valuable. So if you want an extension on the stream or you enjoy, please consider donating. The links are in the chat. If somebody's interested, just ask and I'll post them again. And hell, I'll just go ahead and post them again. But I just want to say this, and Dennison, if he's here, he can take over after I say this. One of the things that I wanted to do with my community is I wanted to create a space where we can help one another. Let's go. But
hey, you're fucking useless bot. Doesn't have any decent feet. I should get that. If I type the command, I should receive.
All right, I'm dispatching a lady boy over there. But I've always wanted to create a space where we can help each other, and I get what Ike was talking about and what Dennison was talking about not talking to women and men having to support one another. And I'm going to do my best to do my part in that. And make sure that environment is fostered, because there is one thing I will give Casper, and I'm saying people's names as examples. The issues that he talks about and brings up are something that is destroying our society, and we all got to do our part to mitigate that. But moving on, we're going to move on from there. I have some very interesting things. You know what? I might do a complete separate show tomorrow on the gardening stuff, because there is so much to it. We're past the 2-hour mark. No donos. If you guys want the gardening stuff today, dono, extend the show. I give us 10 minutes to get some in. If not,
yeah, 2 hours is a good layout.
If not, we'll do that tomorrow, because I have all the videos I wanted to cover saved.
Oh, Josh had to drop out. He went to bed.
Yeah, I saw.
Because just doing some self-reflection and input that I received. 2 hours is usually a good benchmark.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a while. I have to actually start abiding by it. I'll definitely cover it tomorrow.
Nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
Nothing changes unless we get donos.
Yep.
It's all about profit margins.
And if the gardening section is that big, then it might be well served to give it its own. Just a thought.
Yep. And then because I learned how to navigate the music stuff, we'll definitely do more sharing music and stuff with people.
I don't get this one.
What's up, Chaos Queen? What's up, El Perro?
Of course not. Your penny from them.
I think he may be a little earlier in the show.
Oh. Cat, you gotta move. This old man's gotta move a minute. Oh.
Nah. That's crazy.
Used to be $2. I guess with inflation, it's $5.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh Lord, have mercy on our souls.
Oh.
All right then.
Yeah, we'll do, because like I'm looking at the videos that I have queued up to go over and discuss about gardening, and this is a whole 2-3 hours on their own.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. Just in gardening topic in general can last forever.
And it's like the space stuff. Like I definitely want to do it, but again, profit margins matter. I'm not gonna give too much of my time away for free. But I do like to hang and chill with peeps.
Yep. It's like a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah.
Damn if you do and damn if you don't. I know where you're coming from.
I think we had some good topics. I'm pretty sure I pissed off some sensitive people, but I'm shedding the people I don't want to be around. And
pissed off some sensitive. I don't see what you said that would have actually pissed anybody off. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's the fact that when people call me a Nazi for these beliefs, I double down and I say yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
If the belief that we should cut off unproductive people from tax dollars and stop caring about what they say in voting is that bad, I'm shedding those people from my group.
Understood.
So, and this is the second stream of the day. Like I'm also realizing that too. And then it's getting to be nighttime where bigger people go live.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've seen anybody go live, but that's just me.
No, there's a few people. There's a few bigger people live. So.
But
all right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been that 10 minutes. Again, thank you for viewing. Thank you for coming and chilling with us. we'll do the gardening stuff tomorrow. I'm sorry for blue balling that. The conversation with Josh went around a little bit longer on social dynamics. So I apologize. We will definitely do gardening stuff tomorrow. And I appreciate each and every one of you for coming and chilling with me. You could have been anywhere else but here. So for your time, I am appreciative. And love you guys. And let us build a better tomorrow, I guess. Good
Yes, sir.
night, ladies and gentlemen.